What's up guys, welcome back. With sporting events back in action, I think it's perfect timing to cover some game day appetizers. Today I'll be showing you my crab cake and my cheesesteak egg rolls. Let's get in the kitchen and make it happen. Alright, we're going to start off with the crab cake egg rolls. Now this is something that I saw go viral on social media and I knew I just had to try my hand. We're going to start by sauteing some onion and celery. You want to pre-cook the veggies so they're not raw when you cook your egg rolls because egg rolls tend to cook pretty quickly. So just dice up a half of a yellow onion or white onion and a couple stalks of celery and saute them until they become tender and translucent. I season them a little bit with some Cajun seasoning. Just a few minutes in the skillet with a little avocado oil or butter is all you need. Once that's done, pop that in the fridge to cool and then we're going to make our sauce for the crab cakes. I'm going down with about a half cup of mayonnaise, a few dashes of hot sauce, and a few dashes of Lea & Perrins, and some Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon. As always guys, the specific measurements and ingredients are in the description below. Added a little bit of sweet pickle juice, and of course our old friend, Old Bay. I guess I should have said our Old Bay, never mind, forget it. Alright, we're seasoning this with a little bit of white sugar as well, breaking out the whisk and mixing until all of those delicious ingredients are well combined. There's no egg in this recipe, so feel free to taste as you go and adjust the flavors to your preference. I'm adding a little bit of onion powder here, followed by some garlic powder. Give that a nice mix. And once the flavor is right where you want it, it's time to add in that delicious lump crab meat. This is about a half pound or so. You can double this recipe if you're serving a lot of guests. And then take your rubber spatula and just fold in that crab meat. Don't get too aggressive with it because you do want to leave those lumps intact. You paid good money for that. Once those veggies have cooled, we're going to go ahead and add those to our mixing bowl along with that crab meat and just work everything in together. Allow those flavors to come together like we used to do before COVID, and then it's time to add some breadcrumbs. If you want to get real fancy, you can add some crushed Ritz crackers or saltine crackers, but if not, breadcrumbs are just fine for this recipe. Using your spatula, you want to fold those in a little bit at a time. I used about a cup or so here, but depending on what you choose to use, you may need more or less. Really, you're just looking to bind the crab meat together a bit. Similar consistency to a meatball if you've ever made those before as well. Once you get the consistency and the flavor right where you want it, go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator to chill a bit while we work on our cheesesteak egg rolls. I like to use fresh steak, either New York strip or ribeye works perfectly. The best way to do this is to work with a partially frozen steak. It makes the meat much easier to slice. You also want to make sure your knife is nice and sharp for this. Just make really thin slices on your steak like you see me doing right here, about 1/8 of an inch thick or so. If you're feeling lazy, get the already shaved steak from your local grocery store, or you can whip out the steakums from the freezer. I won't judge you. But if you're trying to follow this recipe and you want to use fresh steak, then just slice it real thin like you see me doing in the video. Let's speed this up. That's what we're looking like after we've shaved all of our steak. Now you want to get your skillet nice and hot and add your freshly shaved steak to that skillet with a little bit of avocado oil or vegetable oil, whatever you prefer to use. Season it up with some salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. A little McCormick steak seasoning wouldn't hurt here either. We're looking to develop some nice color on the meat because that's going to add some flavor. Once you have the color right where you want it, add in some onion and bell pepper. Doesn't matter if you use red or green or both like you see me doing. Once that's done, you want to set it aside and allow it to cool a bit so it doesn't burn through your egg roll wrapper. Speaking of egg roll wrappers, we want to lay one out like you see me doing right here on the cutting board and use some water to wet the edges. That's going to help get a nice seal on your egg roll. Now, if you've never done this before, be prepared to screw up the first one because it happens to the best of us. Go ahead and let me know in the comments if you were able to get through this without messing up an egg roll. Shredded cheese would be my preference here. For some reason, I decided to use sliced. I would definitely recommend using shredded, but we got the job done. Fold the sides over and then make sure you get a nice seal before you move on to rolling. And just try to make your egg rolls nice and tight. The key here is to make sure the edges are sealed, that way nothing leaks out during the frying process. Just take your time. Like I said, if you mess one up, no big deal. And soon you'll be able to do them as fast as me. All right, moving on to our crab cake egg rolls. Same deal with wetting the edges to ensure a good seal happens, and then just spoon on your crab mixture right in the middle of the egg roll wrapper. These are super delicious. I'm not sure who came up with this concoction. I wish I knew so I could give you some credit, but I saw it on Twitter and Facebook, and I just had to give it a try. Can't wait for you guys to try this recipe. Let me know in the comments what you think. Again, same song and dance right here. Just make sure that your egg rolls are nicely sealed on the edges and roll them as tightly as you can. That's a fatty. There we go. That's all of our hard work right there on the cutting board. Now it's time to get our grease up to 350 degrees. I prefer peanut oil, but vegetable or canola oil will work as well. And just place them into your frying pan or skillet. Trying not to overcrowd the pan too much because that's going to reduce the temperature of the oil, and that's going to lead to less than crispy egg rolls, and that's not what we're going for. Use your tongs and make sure that they're well submerged in that oil. Looking for a nice golden brown color. These fry up pretty quick, probably 5 to 8 minutes or so. Move them around occasionally just to make sure they're not sticking together or to the bottom of your skillet. And once the color is right where you want it, go ahead and remove them to a wire rack and allow them to drain. Here we're making some aioli to serve with our cheesesteak egg rolls. I went in with some mayo, some ketchup, some sriracha, a little bit of honey to sweeten things up a bit, some more sweet pickle juice, some worcestershire sauce, and our Old Bay. You gotta try it again, sorry guys. Garlic powder going in. And break out that little baby whisk and combine all of those ingredients until you have a nice consistency like so. I wanted to spice it up a bit more, so I added some more sriracha. Like I always say guys, taste as you go and make sure to tweak the flavor profile to your liking. Once the egg rolls have cooled a bit, it's time to slice them. I recommend using a serrated knife. It helps slice more efficiently. Man, those look good. I like to serve these with some sweet chili sauce, but the aioli is a good option for these crab cakes as well. Now let's cut into one of these cheesesteak egg rolls. Looking good. Probably could have added a little bit more cheese. That's why the shredded cheese is a good choice. You guys let me know which one is your favorite in the comments. Spreading on that aioli onto the cheesesteak egg rolls. And a trademark money shot. Egg rolls are quickly becoming one of my favorite appetizers. You know I gotta try one. If I'm being honest, the crab cake egg rolls are probably my favorite, although the cheesesteak egg rolls are equally amazing. Oh man, that's good. Hope you guys enjoyed the recipe. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. And as always, thank you for your support.